Want to welcome all of you here today, and at this time we'll have the prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and led by Commissioner Morgan.
Let us pray. Most gracious Heavenly Lord, as we take counsel today, we ask that you would be with us to guide and direct us to do your will. We would ask that you would be with the leaders of our country as they seek compromise and understanding on issues before them. We ask that you would guide and direct us in our daily lives. We give you thanks for the blessings that you have given us, and we ask that all of this in the name of your Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're doing good with that now. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting of the Cabell County Commission to order. And the first item on the agenda is approval of the January 23rd, 2020 regular commission agenda.
So moved.
Motion's
Second.
been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is erroneous assessments, land consolidation, split tickets, probate documentation, county clerk's probate office.
So move.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is approval of purchase orders number 295943 through number 296156. Pay jackets, monthly payments to Fifth Third for fuel card purchases, ACH drafts for weekly claims experience administration costs, Highmark, handwritten check to Unum, and handwritten check to Guardian.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda are citizens registered to speak. And we have, and I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, but we have Lynn and Judy here to talk about the Second Amendment. Would you like to tell us your last name? Okay. We're ready to, that's an item that is on the agenda, so we'll wait till we get to that item if that's okay. We also have Christy Montgomery, and Christy wants to talk about, I think, medical marijuana. Christy?
Hi, I'm Kristen Montgomery. I'm representing Appalachian Cannabis Company as well as Appalachian Pharmaceuticals. And we currently are a CBD company or a CSL. So we grow industrial hemp through the licensure of the West Virginia Department of Agriculture. We've been doing that now for 3 years in compliance with the program. We grow, we extract, we produce, we manufacture, we sell retail in our retail locations as well as wholesale across the country. And we are seeking a license to also add to our business medical cannabis, so medical marijuana. And we were asking the county to make a formal decision as to whether or not they're going to allow this in the county. I think when a lot of counties are reaching out to the Department of Health and Human Resources, they're being told that they don't have to make a formal decision, which is correct. What we are asking is that if you make the formal decision, we're required to pay non-refundable fees up front, and we have to list a specific location. So that, it's $5,000 for a grow rent that's non-refundable. We pay another $50,000 for the permit, $5,000 for processing, another $50,000 for the permit, and $2,500 up to 10 locations, so $25,000 that would be unrefundable, and then $10,000 per location. And that's why we're asking that we get that decision made up front so that we are not choosing a county that's not going to support this.
Thank you. We have received your written information, and our attorney's looking at it at this time.
Are there any questions that you guys might have that I could be?
Not at this time, I don't think. We're still waiting on our attorney.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak on any item that's not on our agenda? If not, we'll move right on to item about surety bond issued by City National Bank of West Virginia.
So move.
The motion's been made.
I'll second that.
It's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
no.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is a letter from the Cabell County Commission to the Federal Aviation Administration, and that deals with the study that's being done by them that might close some airports at night. And we wouldn't have any traffic controllers there, so therefore we couldn't have people taking off and landing. And so we would like to be removed from this study as far as the Tri-State Airport is concerned. And we're asking that they do that in this letter that we're sending to the Federal Aviation Administration. The airport's already sent a letter explaining everything, why it shouldn't happen. One of the reasons is FedEx flies in and out of our airport, and they do a lot of flights at night. And that would really hurt the airport financially. And there's lots of other reasons, the mountainous terrain and that kind of thing. You just can't get in and out of there without traffic controllers. So we thought we would send a letter that would support the airport's position.
So moved.
Motion's been made.
Second that.
It's been seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. The next item is a matter of authorizing the moving of the early voting satellite location from the Ona Field Office to the Milton City Hall, and I'm going to call on our county clerk to talk about that.
The field office is too small to accommodate the machines we need to have to keep people from standing in a long line. We did 4, and we needed more than 2, but we put 2 in there, and it just made it, it's just too close. And the parking is not good. So we have looked around, tried to find somewhere to go, but the state of Nona, but hadn't been able to find anything, so the City Hall of Milton said, they said that we could use that, and we looked at it, and it seems to be, everything is good there.
And Milton's okay with that,
So,
obviously.
Yes,
And the security to protect the integrity of the ballot will still follow state law.
yes.
I know that office at Ona grew like crazy. We started out thinking, well, this would be a good thing, and it became a really good thing. You gave me some figures on that one day. Do you know those off the top of your head, how many people voted there last time?
4,000 in one election.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. But it's very convenient. It keeps folks from having to come all the way to the courthouse to vote in early voting.
And the people that, say, like live in Barbersville could go either to there in Milton or to Marshall University.
It would be easier to go
Yeah.
there because the parking, you know, you really wouldn't have trouble parking, and it's good parking. It's not like you're on a hill or whatever, so, I mean, it's just, courthouse does good business too. I mean, we have a lot of people vote here early, and then,
Yeah.
of course, Marshall picked up, the last time too, so.
Well, people can go to any of those places that they want to go to vote, whichever one they're closest to or whichever one they just like to go to. Okay, that's the item before us.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We're going to call on you again, Phyllis. We have the appointments for ballot commissioner for 2020 and 2021. Nancy Eplin, the Democrat ballot commissioner, and Lois Merritt, the Republican ballot commissioner,
Yes, they, that's who the executive committee has picked to,
from each party.
yes,
They're the ones currently serving.
I don't know, Nancy was.
I think it's the same two people that served in the last election.
Had a fall.
Right.
and I
Is she
think
doing okay?
She's doing, yeah, she's able to do it now, but she had to be, McCarthy, we had to replace because she wasn't able to do it, but she is able to do it now, so.
Okay.
So moved.
Second?
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is a resolution in the matter of establishing an emergency absentee voting policy for Cabell County in 2020 primary election. Do you have anything you'd like to say about that? We're just calling on you all the time today.
That's just a routine thing we have to do every election, so, and it's time to do it, so.
So moved.
Motion's been made.
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is a resolution in the matter of advertising a notice of requesting for proposal of services for the demolition and removal of certain jail building located beside the Cabell County Courthouse.
The day has finally come.
This is an issue we've been looking at a long time, and
Yes, we have.
we finally have a little breathing room and think we can move forward on this.
Well, it's totally deteriorating. It's gonna fall down if we don't get it torn down.
Yeah, we were able to shut off a lot of the utilities last year, to save some money, but it needs out of there, it's getting to be a safety concern.
And it's not, nothing in it that's being used at this point in time.
Yeah.
Second.
Motion's been made.
Was it for, I didn't,
She didn't make a motion.
Oh, so move.
Motion's been made.
second.
Has been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
no. Motion carries. Next item is an agreement for demolition and removal of certain jail building located beside the Cabell County Courthouse.
And this is the agreement that, I've worked with Chad Nelson and West Linville Maintenance Director about the demolition of the building, and, this is what any person that would get the bid would have to agree to.
Right. Okay.
So move.
Motion's been made.
I'll second that.
It's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is the reappointment of Chris Tatum to the Tri-State Transit Authority Board.
Do you want to say anything about him?
Well, I can. Mayor, Mayor Tatum has served his first term at TTA. It's a 3-year term on our board. He's very engaged, and he has a lot of good ideas and things. And our board has unanimously said they'd like to keep Chris for another 3 years if the commission so agrees. And so we're asking that he be reappointed.
Okay, thank you.
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next resolution is the employment of Brittany Jane Branham, Rosemary Briggs as per diem EMTs, Courtney Sierra Harper per diem EMT, Patrick Michael Martin III, full-time EMT, Alexander Blake Prince per diem EMT, Elizabeth Jean Roberts per diem EMT, Luke Gabriel Smith per diem EMT, and Austin Lee Schroff per diem EMT, and the reclassification of Nicholas Tate to a full-time EMT.
So move.
Motion's been made.
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next is a resolution in the matter of advertisement for an invitation to bid for the repair of the upper cornice around the perimeter of the Cabell County Courthouse. We all know that needs to be done. We received a grant from the courthouse
That's
facilities
that thing
group.
right out there.
That's that thing right out there.
Yes, we actually did the 8th Street side last spring.
It was last spring, yeah.
And then this
You
week.
would go around the rest of the courthouse, about 800 feet.
And we did receive a grant from the courthouse facilities group for about $97,000.
You did.
So that will help a lot in getting that work done.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made.
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the resolution and order providing for submission of additional levy for certain specified purposes by the County Commission for Cabell County, West Virginia. Every 5 years, we have to put the excess levies on the ballot, and it's time to do that. They have to be approved in this meeting in order to appear on the ballot. So, we have levies for the Cabell County Emergency Medical Services, Cabell Huntington Health Department, the Cabell County Senior Citizen Projects and Programs, Tri-State Transit Authority, and Fire Protection Service, Firefighting Training and Economic Development, which is all one levy.
This would be a continuation of what we're doing now.
These are levies that are already in place. It won't increase your taxes, but if you vote against it, it would decrease your taxes. I guess we need to tell that part too, don't we?
And the services provided.
Right, the services provided would go away as well.
And this empowers the people to vote on that.
So that's the item before us at this time.
So move.
Motion's been made,
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item we have is a resolution, Second Amendment Sanctuary County. And since it's your resolution, would you like to read it?
Yeah, I'd like to move it, actually, but I would like
I'd like-
to say a few words about the reason for me
Sure.
putting this on the agenda. I've always been a strong proponent of the Second Amendment as a 16-year legislator, standing up for the Constitution. I was one of the few that voted against the Home Rule Bill because I felt like it was unconstitutional. There are other bills that I've always either opposed or supported because of the constitutionality, so I'm a strong constitutionalist. Having said that, the founders of our American Republic sought to guarantee the rights of the people, including the rights of the people to keep and bear arms. There were clashes between the colonists and the British authorities, and attempts to disarm the colonists were made. James Madison proposed that what would become the Bill of Rights, states wanted greater constitutional protections for individual liberties, and therefore the Bill of Rights speaks largely of the individual rights of the people. In December 1791, it was ratified. The Second Amendment states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Thomas Jefferson wrote just before his death in 1826, all power is inherent to the people, in the people. It is their right and duty at all times to be armed. As of last week, over 400 local governments in 20 states have acted to adopt a Second Amendment sanctuary jurisdiction. In the past 2 months alone, more than 120 towns, cities, and counties in Virginia have declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries where laws considered to be unconstitutional would not be enforced. In West Virginia, Putnam County was the first county to follow the town, followed by the town, I believe, of Fort Gay, and Preston and Nicholas counties also approved this week, and with other counties discussing the option. So how did the Second Amendment sanctuary movement begin? From the research that I've done in 2018, Brian Kibler, an attorney for Jeffingham County, Illinois, first coined this phrase based upon the sanctuary cities that were, not following the federal law of immigration. He was an attorney for Jefferson County, or he is, and many experts say that the sanctuary resolutions are largely symbolic, but as Kibler said, we've gotten past the symbolic stage. We are standing up for ourselves. I put this resolution on the county commission agenda to publicly proclaim that as a body, we will defend our constitutional rights for the good people of Cabell County. And I did take an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States and that of West Virginia. And just so to eliminate any confusion, anybody that is opposed to this, I would just like to read it for word, the resolution that we would be considering for adoption. That way you can make your determination for yourself. As a regular session of the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia, held at the courthouse thereof on the 23rd day of January 2020, the following order was made and entered. In the County Commission of Cabell County regarding the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. Let me take a drink. Whereas the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And whereas the United States Supreme Court in District of Columbia versus Heller affirmed in 2008 an individual's right to possess firearms unconnected with the service in a militia for traditionally lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home. And whereas the United States Supreme Court in McDonald versus Chicago in 2010 affirmed that the right of an individual to keep and bear arms as protected under the Second Amendment is incorporated by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment against the states. And whereas the United States Court in United States versus Miller, 1939, opined that firearms that are part of ordinary military equipment or with use could contribute to the common defense are protected by the Second Amendment. And whereas Article 3, Section 21 of the Constitution of West Virginia provides, a person has the right to keep and bear arms for the defense of self, family, home, and state, and for lawful hunting and recreational use. And whereas Article 3, Section 1 of the Constitution of West Virginia reads, all men are by nature equally free and independent, have certain inherent rights of which, when they enter into a state of society, they cannot, by any compact, deprive or divest the posterity, namely the enjoyment of life and liberty, with the means of acquiring and possessing property and of pursuing and obtaining happiness and safety. And whereas Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution of West Virginia reads, all power is vested in and consequently derived from the people, magistrates and their trustees and servants, and at a time amenable to them. And whereas the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia recognizes that federal and state laws are presumed constitutional until finally declared otherwise by a court of appropriate jurisdiction. And whereas the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia is concerned about the passage of any law containing language that would unconstitutionally infringe upon the rights of the citizens of Cabell County to keep and bear arms. And whereas in addition to the individual rights to keep and bear arms, as enshrined in the United States and West Virginia constitutions, the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia, is mindful of the deep cultural and historic roots of hunting within Cabell County, as well as the many conservation and wildlife management benefits to be derived from responsible game management through hunting. And whereas the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia, wishes to express its deep commitment to the rights of all law-abiding citizens of Cabell County to keep and bear arms as constitutionally protected, and whereas the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia, wishes to express opposition to and discourage the enactment of any law that would unconstitutionally restrict the rights of citizens of Cabell County to keep and bear arms. And whereas the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia, recognizes that the Supreme Court of Appeals of West Virginia has previously held that the West Virginia Legislature may, through the valid exercise of its police power, reasonably regulate the right of a person and keep and bear arms in order to promote the health, safety, and welfare of all citizens of this state, provided that the restrictions or regulations imposed do not frustrate the constitutional freedoms guaranteed by Article 3, Section 22 of the West Virginia Constitution, known as the Right to Keep and Bear Arms Amendment. Whereas the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia recognizes that the Supreme Court of Appeals of West Virginia has previously stated that it is axiomatic that the regulation and control of dangerous and deadly weapons is exclusively within the police power of the state, exercising through the legislature and not the judiciary. I've left out some references just for the sake of time, but we will have a copy of this available to the public. And I'll continue to close this out. Whereas the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia wishes to express its intent to stand as a sanctuary county for Second Amendment rights and to oppose, with the limits of the Constitution of the United States and the state of West Virginia, any efforts to unconstitutionally restrict such rights, and to use reasonable and legal means as the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia may hereafter approve to protect the rights of the citizens of Cabell County to keep and bear arms. Now therefore be it resolved by the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia, that the County Commission hereby declares Cabell County, West Virginia as a Second Amendment sanctuary for purposes described above. And be it further resolved that the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia hereby expresses its intent to uphold the Second Amendment rights of the citizens of Cabell County, West Virginia. And be it further resolved that the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia hereby expresses its desire that public funds be not used to constitutionally restrict the Second Amendment rights of the citizens of Cabell County or to aid federal or state agencies in the unconstitutional restriction of said rights. And be it further resolved that the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia hereby declares its intent to oppose within the limitations imposed by law upon local governments any unconstitutional infringement of the right of law-abiding citizens to keep and bear arms, using such reasonable and legal means as the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia hereafter approve. And be it finally resolved that the undersigned clerk of the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia hereby certifies that the resolution set forth above was adopted during an open meeting on January 23rd, 2020 by the County Commission of Cabell County, West Virginia with the following votes, and it has a place for us all to record our votes. And I therefore respectfully urge the adoption of this resolution by my fellow commissioners to take a stand for our Constitution and to state very strongly that we want to join with other counties throughout West Virginia, throughout the nation, and that we want to stand up for the Second Amendment. Thank you, Madam President.
I'd like to ask a question and make a statement also. Is that the same resolution that Putnam passed with the exception of county changes, county name changes?
Yeah, I reached out to Ron Foster, who's in the Putnam County Commission,
Yeah.
and he provided that to us, and it's,
Right.
yes, very similar.
Same thing.
I
think-
have not altered what he
Right.
provided to us.
I think it's interesting, an attorney that I was discussing this with said, you know, what you really ought to propose is a resolution that Cabell County is a sanctuary county for the 19th Amendment, which states, the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of sex. And we encourage all voters, including women, to exercise that constitutional right in Cabell County. That means if we put as much effort into getting people out to vote as we are on this, we might be better off. But that's not what this is about.
And you have the opportunity to put that on a future agenda.
The resolution before us cites several legal and legislative rules concerning the ownership and use of arms as mentioned in the United States Constitution. I certainly do not agree with any of the points made, except that nowhere is there any mention of a common sense with regard to gun ownership and use. Most are law-abiding, church-going, gun-owning, proud to be citizens of West Virginia. And with varying interpretations at various times, we use the Bible in defense and support of many of our actions. And in our churches, when we do this, I would expect that most have what you might call a security team or other things to protect your congregation from unknown intruders who might use a gun or other weapons to cause mass injuries. Because West Virginia law broadly preempts the power of local governments to regulate firearms or ammunition, I feel that this resolution is unnecessary and has no means of enforcement. The legislation that I believe is needed is more complete background checks, control of assault weapons, and some type of ability to control weapons in possessions of those who constitute a threat to the public. Counties in West Virginia are severely limited by legislative approval from enacting any laws or ordinances with control to firearms, and that's dependent upon the West Virginia legislature. I also know of no credible threat to the right to keep and bear arms. Having said all that, in order to allow citizens to have the right to own a gun for protection and for recreational use and for their own protection and those of others, I will vote yes to pass this resolution. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. You did make a motion.
I made a motion, yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Is there any further discussion? At this time, we will allow those people in the audience to speak, and we have a couple already signed up. Mr. Dushek.
I'm from Huntington. I am leading to a question, but I want to break down the amendment a little. The well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. There were no standing armies in this country until the First World War. So we relied upon militias during colonial times, right after the adoption of this amendment. It says being necessary to the security of a free state, this militia being necessary. And so we have National Guard, which are statewide, and I'm wondering how the militias within each county are going to interface or have any kind of a relationship with the statewide militia. That's one concern or one thing I'm wondering about. Then it says the right of the people to keep and bear arms. People. Even Kelly, when she read from her statement, said that men, and I think that was the intention of the founding fathers at that time. There were only men who were authorized to load muskets and meat and go out and kill militia. But I'm assuming that this would include women, African Americans, and others. So what I want to ask a question about is the very first part, a well-regulated militia. Back in the times of the Revolution, the men of a certain age were called upon to serve in militias, and so their identity was known. It was known who to go to. I would assume that there were lists, maybe their location. You couldn't really very well call upon people to come and meet as a militia if you didn't know who they were or where they were located. So that raises the question of how we identify who was a member of this well-regulated militia of the Second Amendment. And the second question is the training. These men had to be trained how to load and fire muskets, how to go into formation. This is historically, you can research this and find that. So the question I have is, does this commission, is it planning to allocate any money to train people to be part of this Second Amendment coalition?
I can chime in on that. This resolution does not seek to, for the county commission to create law. I'll direct you to a part of the resolution. It says, whereas the county commission of Campbell County wishes to express opposition to and to discourage the enactment of any law which would unconstitutionally restrict the rights of the citizens of Campbell County to keep and bear arms. So this is not recognizing that we are a legislative body that can, supersede the state or federal. I will point out, some court decisions have already spoken on the constitutionality. So we're not here to debate whether the Second Amendment applies to individual rights of the people or to collective rights under a militia, a regulated militia, because that's already been decided in court decisions. As I stated in the resolution, it states that the United States Supreme Court in District of Columbia versus Heller, 554 U.S. 570 in 2008, affirmed an individual's rights to possess firearms unconnected with service in a militia for traditionally lawful purposes such as self-defense within the home. So this does not seek to argue the law or the Constitution of the state of West Virginia or the federal government. It is merely saying that we, I'll read another part of it. It says that the county commission wishes to express its intent to stand as a sanctuary county for the Second Amendment within the limits of the Constitution of the United States and the state of West Virginia, any efforts to unconstitutionally restrict such rights. So with this saying that we are just making a statement as county commissioners of a county elected body to uphold something that has already been given to us by our founding fathers to defend and protect, and that is the Second Amendment.
Was there anyone else? I think we had 2 people sign up. Yes.
Judy Deutsch, and the positions that I advocate are not, in my opinion, counter to the Second Amendment, which is gun safety, adherence to red flag laws, universal background checks. I believe that these are beneficial to all citizens, whether they bear arms or whether they do not. They're meant to protect everybody. If I knew of somebody who had an arsenal of guns and was going to shoot up the school, I would feel that I should be obligated to let the school, let the police, let anybody know that this person is a danger. And if you do not apply that right, you're putting all citizens at risk.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak that did not
I'd
sign?
just like to say that at the end of the day, this resolution doesn't change law, doesn't change anything. It just sends a clear and present message that our county stands on our U.S. Constitution and our West Virginia Constitution for our Second Amendment rights to keep and bear arms.
Is there any further, yes?
I didn't sign up. I was a little late. I had a 6
That's okay.
I had a 6-hour
Hi,
drive.
Mike.
How you doing?
You need to
Whether
identify
I call
yourself.
you Commissioner Morgan now, or I call you Delegate Morgan.
Okay, Governor,
Mike
that's
Folk, I'm
fine.
from
Would you
Berkeley
please
County.
tell us your name before you?
I just did. Mike Folk from Berkeley
Okay.
County. A little history on the Second Amendment. There's a guy named Governor Gage in Massachusetts that actually tried to go door to door and enforce what I would refer to in modern times as a red flag law, warrantless search and seizures to take your Second Amendment rights. We put an end to it then. But more importantly, what we're doing today is something what I refer to, if here's you're gonna pass the Second Amendment sanctuary city. This was a concept that was derived under the concept of a principle of nullification by the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions of Madison and Jefferson, when they tried to enforce unconstitutional laws in 1798. In that case, it was freedom of speech. And of course, if they take away your Second Amendment rights, it's much easier to take away your First Amendment rights. And that concept of nullification, which we're instituting today, 2 other counties, I believe, have already done in the state, 1 in city has done in the state, and hundreds of counties and cities in Virginia have done it, is one of interposing our smaller government, in this case a local government, instead of a state government, and saying that we're not going to enforce an unconstitutional law in this jurisdiction. In this case, because in West Virginia, we are one of the most pro-Second Amendment states in the country. We're not going to enforce any law that infringes upon your Second Amendment rights as pointed out in the U.S. and in our case, the West Virginia Constitution. I support you passing this. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay. Is there any further discussion among the commissioners? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to the next resolution, which is the employment of Elise Nicole Lewis as a full-time temporary telecommunicator.
So moved.
Motion's been made.
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is a resolution and is the county budget revision number 5. Beth?
County Clerk's Office making a county revision again, moving money from capital outlay into contracted services, and this was on, which of your contracted services was it again? Was it on Lisa's? Did you do?
What was on where we,
It's okay, Commissioner Morgan just asked me last time and I wasn't prepared, so.
it's like, had to do with our softwares.
Oh, that's right, the software renewal for each of their programs, I think, for the record room.
So moved.
Motion's been made. It's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
no. Motion carries. And the next item is a resolution, state budget revision number 6. Beth?
This is a state revision to increase the refunds and reimbursement revenue line item and in the courthouse line item, account number 1424. And it's a reimbursement that we get back on the fuel taxes from the P-card and from the, just the state sales tax. And it's the increased revenue so we can increase courthouse line item to pay those bills.
Okay, makes sense.
So moved.
Motion's been made. It's
Second.
been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. That brings us to placing on record minutes to be recorded, the Pea Ridge PSD regular board minutes, November 14th, 2019. Documents to be recorded, the Pea Ridge PSD field report and manager's report, October 2019. Pea Ridge PSD general ledger balance sheet and income statement, period 5, year ending 2020, and letter from Suddenlink of changes to the video rates.
So move.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, motion carries. Do we have any commissioners' representation reports?
Yeah, I want to ask a question because the sheriff is back there. Received several inquiries concerning I guess a herd of horses that had much mistreatment, had been taken in by several folks, and there was some thought they would be given back to the original owner. Can you,
That was one of our many animal cruelty cases in the county. It was in April. We took several horses and I think like 50 dogs. The animals have been fostered. The case was sent upstairs for a felony. It's been sent back down. It's set for the 25th. There's no intention, if I have anything to do with it, there's no intention to ever give them anything back. And we were just out there on another incident at that residence, and they do not have any animals at this time. So they are following the order not to have any more animals, and we have no intentions of giving those animals back. None.
thank you. And
I
then-
attended, though, when you're done, I had a question to continue on the same issue.
You did, oh, I was gonna say that we have the West Virginia Extension Service with us, do we not?
Can I ask the sheriff a question, though, on that?
Go ahead,
Same.
go ahead.
When we attended the animal shelter meeting, and that was brought up,
Right?
did you bring up the fact that no law prohibits him from taking, the offender from taking the animals back? Because that would be a concern of mine.
Most of the time, the courts, when they adjudicate the court case, they put reference in there that they cannot have their animals back, nor can they have animals in the future. There's been one case in particular that got messed up downstairs, and the prosecution gave the animals back and actually remanded me to pay the storage on it. So we're still working on that at this time.
That's the case you told us about before.
It's the case.
Yes. Okay, anything else from commissioners? Anything for the good and welfare of Cabell County?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, there you are.
I'm
I
Doug
couldn't
Wilson.
see you.
Yep. I'm the Agriculture and Natural Resources and Extension Agent for Cabell and Wayne counties. And I have our two new employees for the Cabell County Extension Office. Leslie Langman is our new 4-H and Youth Development Agent. And Lillian Steele Thomas is our new Mountaineer Temp for the office. This is just showing the commitment that WVU has to our office here in Cabell County. And going forward, these are going to be the two new faces in Cabell County, working with people here too.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
Yep.
With that being said, this spring, the Cabell County CEOS ladies, formerly known as the Homemakers, will be hosting their regional meeting. And right now, they need 700 papers copied off. And back in the fall, for those that were here, I no longer have that service. So, because of budget cuts. So I am imploring you all to re-adjudicate the money to us to have a printer service in there to serve the people of our county. Because we cannot adequately do that without that. This is showing the commitment that WVU has. I'm asking for you all to show your commitment to our Cabell County Extension Service.
Thank you.
Just for the printer, not anything else.
I didn't think you were going any further. Anything else for the good and welfare? Hearing nothing, as soon as we sign the necessary paperwork, the meeting will be adjourned. Thank you all so much for coming.